Without further ado, we want to introduce Nav, the Raptors super fan. And, we've had a chance to kind of correspond a little bit back and forth, but it's nice to finally get you on the podcast. How are you?
Hey, very good. Thank you very much for having me on.
Well, glad to have you on because there's lots to talk about. And of course, with the Raptors and what happened this summer, it's been crazy. But before that, for those who don't know, tell us about your story, how you became this Raptors super fan. It's really neat from our side because we understand it. But if you could explain for those who might not necessarily know.
Okay, well, like any immigrant, I came here in '84, and I came in a very bad situation in India when the Sikhs, I'm a Sikh by religious faith, and when I came here, it was we had a genocide happening in India where the Sikhs were being sort of killed left and right, for being a Sikh. So anyway, left there, came to this beautiful country, Canada, and I'm a mechanical engineer by education, but couldn't get a job as a mechanical engineer with my beard in '84. It was different, a little bit more. Now we are everywhere. We are very popular. We are in the politics. We have 5 ministers in the cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, I was it was a tough time getting a job, but I was at least in the best country in the world. So I came, couldn't get a job, did some odd jobs, cleaning, landscaping, and all that, even being a mechanical engineer. So finally, I ended up as a car salesman in a city, in a Rexdale, which is a part of the GTA, in Rexdale. I became a salesman. And, the very first day was quite an experience for me because when I went to the job first day, I had this guy and they were all white people working there. And I was the only who was non-white and different looking. And I was called all kind of names. I was called Packy. I was called Turban Head, Diaper Head. I mean, you name it, I was called. And, I understood everything, but I didn't understand why the hell they're calling me Paki because I'm from India.
Yeah.
So why the hell they will call me Paki, Paki, because I related Paki with Pakistan. But anyway, soon later I found out what it meant. But anyway, I didn't get discouraged at the time. I didn't argue with anybody. I just basically, with all the other employees, I was working with them. I had a thick skin and I just wanted to work hard and I wanted my numbers to speak out. So, first 3 months, I decided at the very first day that, hey, now you will have to work harder you have to be better than good if you want to survive in this environment. So, with God's grace, hard work, in the very first 3 months, I sold 127 cars there at that dealership, Rexdale Hyundai. And, everybody was amazed by that, surprised by that. And that was a record at that time. And believe it or not, it still is a record. 33 years later, it's 34 years later, it still is a record. So, the numbers spoke. And then with God's grace, I became a manager and then general manager. And then Hyundai sent me to another dealership to run another dealership. And, soon by '95, I was doing well. I had a home in Mississauga. Was the general manager. And you know what? I was comfortable zone, And then in '95, the Raptors arrived in Toronto. So I used to watch basketball, Michael Jordan and Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, all these guys, Dr. J on the TV. So this came like a dream true. Now and I was able to afford 2 tickets at that time. So I bought 2 tickets, a little bit upper level, but I enjoyed it. And that was my sort of pastime. I didn't have any other hobby, but that was the place for me to go and chill and be just in a different zone, away from all the stresses and everything. And I enjoyed myself, make the loudest noise and cheered on my team, even though our team was new, but made so I bought those 2 tickets at the time. And I want to tell, now I have 13 tickets, 6 court sides and rest of the platinum and the upper wall. But I have 13 seats now. So I really love basketball. And in '98-'99 season, Isaiah Thomas, our general manager at the time, one day, just out of the blue, called me and said, hey, in the halftime, now I don't want you to go outside, stay near the court. I said, okay. And to my surprise, he just called me, 2 minutes later, he called me, and he said, hey, in the halftime, now I don't want you to go outside, stay near the court. I said, okay. And to my surprise, he just called me, 2 minutes later, he called me, and he said, hey, in the halftime, now I don't want you to go outside, stay near the court. I said, okay. And to my surprise, inside the court, on the court in the middle, and gave me a jersey, #1 super fan, Raptor super fan. And that's how I
Wow.
became the Raptor super fan on that day.
Okay.
That's incredible. So that's where
incredible
everything
background.
began for you. I guess,
Isaiah Thomas is the one to be blamed or given credit for that.
I think it's more so given credit, considering that when it comes to any highs and lows, if there's anything that puts a smile on Raptor fans' faces, it's definitely you, because you've become, I guess, never mind Drake, you've become really the main ambassador when it comes to people loving
for
you.
23 years, I have never been late for a game.
Wow.
Never left a game early and never missed a game. So, that's what my record is. And 2 years ago, they made me the Raptors, and the NBA made me the ambassador for the South Asian ambassador also. So Drake is the global ambassador, and I'm the South Asian ambassador. And, we are just having a good time. And the basketball in the last 3, 4 years, 5 years has gone up. And I want to mention something here. In 98, 99, when I was made the super fan for the Raptors, I mean, this turban head, this Paki, this dapper head, all of a sudden became the face of the Raptors,
Yes.
And I was on the high. I was really high. I mean, everything is going my way. I'm doing good at work. I have a home. I have about 60 people working with me, So I was on the top of the world. But then something happened which changed me. One day, as I'm going to fix my cell phone with Bell, there was a Bell phone place, outlet. So I went there. And as I entered to fix my cell phone at that time, this guy sitting on a seat and talking to, I guess, his wife. And as soon as he saw me, he says, "Honey, I got to go. My cab is here." So as he entered, and I looked around, and I'm the only one, and I'm dressed well, man. I mean, I'm good looking, as you can see. But
Definitely.
I was dressed well also. And I said, "What the?" But you know what? That day changed me a little. That changed me quite a bit. And I said, people still have the perception. Doesn't matter if I'm the general manager of a dealership. Doesn't matter if I'm dressed up properly. But people still perceive us to be a cab driver.
Yeah.
And there's nothing driving a cab.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of my brothers in Toronto see people drive cab, and I am proud of them because it's a hard work. It's an honest work.
Well, it talks about the immigrant struggle, right? You got to do whatever you can. I know with Tendo, he's South African. My parents are Eritrean themselves, so they busted their butts to make sure that they get to where they were.
And you know what? I believe in the dignity of labor. That's very important. So I said, I got to do something. So I was good to the guy. I didn't get upset or anything. I just told him, "Hey, I'm also here to fix the phone just like you." And so, that was all cool. So after that, I decided that I got to do something where I can change how the people perceive about the Sikhs. So I went to the Raptors and I said, I want to celebrate my New Year in April the 13th every year by bringing thousands of kids, underprivileged kids, different faith, girls, boys, from churches, from mosques, from anywhere, to bring them there and have them watch the game together so that they can integrate together from the young age. They know the Sikhs look different, Muslim people might look different, but deep inside, we are all the same. So, I decided, I bought a lot of tickets and I filled the arena, and I've been doing that for the last 15 years now.
So
I've been buying tickets and bringing up people.
That's amazing. Before we get to your question, Tendo, it's just we just had a little bit of a technical issue with it, but we do understand what you were saying is that every April 13th, you make sure you bring out any kid, it doesn't matter what religion, race, underprivileged or not, to come out and enjoy basketball.
It's the New Year's for the Sikhs. So I said, why not, bring a lot of kids around there from various places, from the mosques, from the churches, from the temples,
and just bring them together and have them enjoy the game together and let them see, hey, that girl different. That guy, girl might look different, but we are all here for one thing, to enjoy the basketball game. And you know what? With God's grace, all those kids who were 10, 11 years old at the time, now 15 years later, 14 years later, 13 years later, are working. They're professionals, they're engineers, doctors, pharmacists, and they are buying the season tickets. So if you come to the game now in Toronto, watch the Raptors, you will see a lot of South Asians because all these kids used to come with the free tickets at that time, but they're now loving basketball and they are buying the season tickets. And that's why, and Raptors know that this is a win-win situation for all of us. So we are all, every time we are sold out in the arena there. So, and also, our environment is much different than a hockey game. If you come to a Maple Leaf game or some other game, our environment is entirely different. We are UNO, and that's what we have been able to create. This particular special thing with that effort which we put for the last 15, 16 years. And that's what I do now also. Whatever little popularity and the love I get from everybody, I'm using that through the game of basketball to bring everybody together.
That's pretty remarkable and
incredible.
smart, finding a commonality through sport. I know we will switch gears just a little bit, and I'm going to throw it to Tendo because I know you've been itching to ask him a question.
Yeah, no, definitely just off of what you've been saying, Nav, I wanted to know, since you said starting the whole the cultural nights, the multicultural nights at the at the Raptors at the Air Canada Centre. Sorry, do you feel that the culture within Toronto itself and the surrounding area, has it changed? Do you feel like?
Entirely different, man. Much positive, much different. I mean, I tell you, it's entirely different. Anybody who's coming, and I meet a lot of people from Halifax who come to Toronto to watch a game, or from Vancouver, or from Calgary, everywhere where the people, Winnipeg, people come there and they say, hey, we love it here. Look at this. Because the arena speaks the way we are in Toronto and the way Canada is supposed to be, with a multicultural community, society, everybody together. Doesn't matter what color, black, brown, green, yellow, what faith, what gender. This is all good here. And we all get together very well. We get together all very well. And it's a beautiful, and I've seen changes for the last 15 years, 16 years in a very positive way. But we got to continue to do this and spread it around the borders, especially south of our border.
Yes.
I go to especially south of our border, but I've seen when I go to Vancouver, a lot of love, everybody. I go to Edmonton, a lot of love. When we go for the preseason game, I go to everywhere, I travel everywhere, lot of love. And also now I've seen, because I've gone to Milwaukee, I've gone to Philadelphia, I go to Brooklyn, I go to Boston, I go to Cleveland. Yeah, very first time when I went to Cleveland, I had a little tough time with some of the fans. But as the game progressed, they found out a little bit more about me on the social media.
Yes.
At the end of the game, I had 200 people who wanted to take a picture. So that tells you, human beings, people are people.
Yes.
And we love each other.
Yeah.
All we have to do is bring it up. And that's what we want to do. And that's what I want to continue doing till my last breath.
It seems like you're on pace, even more so, to do just that. And one of the things that you just quickly mentioned was, you had people outside, like in Milwaukee and Cleveland, of all places, right? You wouldn't think that want to take pictures with you. With that said, you've noticed in that 23 years, or even say just recently, have you noticed this big, I guess, celebrity status, if you will, towards you?
Let me just tell you something really. President Obama was in Toronto last year, and I was one of the, and he was in my bucket list, right?
Yes.
President Obama, So I said, so some or the other, I was picked up to see him. I was the 20 guys who were supposed to see him. And here I walk into the after the Secret Service and the RCMP checks me out, cleans me out. I go in the back room where President Obama was there, and I was supposed to just have a shake hand and take a pic and come out. And as I'm entering, President Obama says, "Shoot, I know you. You're the same guy who goes to Cleveland and make trouble with the team. You cheer on your Raptors." I said, "Yes, President, I'm that one, So, that tells you that, yes, it has given me, with God's grace, I'm getting a lot of love everywhere. I'm in city like Milwaukee. I didn't think that way. But when I went there, it was very different, very cold. But as the game started and all the basketball kids, they knew me, the younger people, I start getting love. So this is usually, it takes me an hour or 2 hours to take picture with all the fans. And then usually we are kicked out of the arena because the security has to get us out. And that's what happens. So I'm coming now. I'm going to Vancouver on 29th of September with the Raptors versus, I believe, Portland is playing there. So I'm going to be there. And but I'm used to be getting kicked out in a couple of hours there, and everybody knows. But I want to let you know, it's amazing the love I'm getting from the people and the love I'm able to give, and trying to bring all communities together through the beautiful game of basketball, which I think is the best sport on this planet.
Let's move and then talk about that team that you love so much, the Toronto Raptors. What are your thoughts on the current progress? It's been a wild summer, as we mentioned earlier. Some names have left. A new head coach.
Yeah, my boy, my very close friend, my very close family, DeMar DeRozan. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh yeah,
I think that's the safe to say. We're not trying to beat around the bush.
Hey, I'm ready, man. You talk to me. I have a clear heart. I'll talk anything you want to talk about.
Yeah. All right, sounds good.
DeMar DeRozan, amazing. I was not just his fan. He was my family. From the very first few days when he came to Toronto, I was introduced to him by our then president and general manager, Brian Colangelo. So from that day, we connected, and he became a family. He was also he's my neighbor also. And you must have seen in the Raptors game, and anybody who saw the Raptors game, there was this young, beautiful black girl sitting with the kids. That was his wife.
Yes.
And those kids used to spend time on my lap plucking with my beard and here and there, and watching their dad play,
Yes.
So I'm going to miss him. DeMar DeRozan, I tell you, what a loyal guy, what a hardworking guy, what a beautiful person, not just on the court, but offside the court. He will never say no to the kids. Humble kid, humble guy, low maintenance guy. And he got traded. And but that's what the NBA business is.
How does that make you feel? Because you talk about, this is not just a basketball player, right? We're looking through, me in particular, I'll use me as an example. I just see this as a business transaction, right? As a fan, I'll be like, okay, that's an interesting move. But at the end of the day, I don't have a personal relationship like you do with DeMar. So this is even more so. So how did you find out about this trade? Were you like the rest of us, or did you kind of know what was going underneath behind the scenes?
Just rest of you. Even DeMar found out on the night. It was, I believe, Tuesday night, 9 o'clock in LA, and our president, Masai, was in Nairobi. So I guess he called, because I talked to the managers, to his team the next day, and they told me how it happened and all that. So anyway, he was told, and he was shocked. He was shocked because he loves Toronto. He loved Toronto. I mean, he has not one house. He has two houses in Toronto next to each other for himself and his family, guests, and everybody. So DeMar, I mean, I understand why he is upset. But you know what? He's going to be all right. This is his time to get it out. And once he gets it out, he will be okay. And you know what? He's going to be playing for the best coach on this planet.
Very true. Very true with Pop.
With Popovich. Yes. Let me tell you, DeMar was the 9th pick. Kawhi was 56th pick in the second round. If Kawhi in 7 years can become 2-time All-Star and an MVP of the final and be a champion. Can you imagine a number 9 pick, DeMar DeRozan, 4-time All-Star now? What can he do in next 2 years with San Antonio?
Yeah, that's very true. There's a lot of
He's
potential.
going to transform from an All-Star to a superstar.
Yes.
You watch it. And I told him, I said, you just make sure you give San Antonio the best you can and learn. That's an opportunity for you to work under Popovich.
Yeah.
And I believe he's going to become a superstar. And we are going to, I just have a little theory that maybe his contract finishes in 2 years. Maybe we get him back in 2 years when he's a superstar again.
Free agency.
Hey. Is that maybe you're sugarcoating, Nav, or you're kind of prognosticating here?
That's my wish. That's my wish list.
for him to come back.
It's not the Raptors. Yeah. He's like, I'm not doing a Magic Johnson. I'm not doing a Magic Johnson here. I'm just trying to, as a fan. Yeah.
Hey, I have the right to also, as a fan, just like you,
sure.
And everybody else, have a right to wish for something.
Yes.
Possible or not, that depends on the organization, on our Raptors organization. But I'm just saying that after 2 years, who knows? That might happen. We don't know. It might be wishful thinking on my part, because right now, if you hear him, he's upset. But I think in a couple of years, in a year, as the time passes, the healing takes place, and he will say, shoot, I'm better that I'm sent to San Antonio, not to maybe Memphis or maybe to some other city.
That's very true. Nav, just off of what you were saying earlier, right now about DeRozan, we've seen that you actually have a very close relationship with a lot of the players, from going to Valanciunas' wedding in Lithuania, and even DeRozan's wedding, or finding a house for a few people. What would you say is your a standout or the most memorable situation that you've been in with one of the players in the organization, number one, but also, I guess you would say, who throughout the years, everyone from Vince Carter to DeMar DeRozan and everyone in between who have you had the closest relationship with?
Oh my God, this is a tough question, because DeMar is like my little brother, or and Jonas is like my little kid, because I met Jonas when he was 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
And he didn't speak a word of English.
Okay.
And all of a sudden I used to correct. I mean, he couldn't speak English, and now he curses in English. So and he tells everybody, "Oh, Nav taught me," and I don't swear ever. So he's misrepresenting me, guys. Whosoever is watching, and if JV swears, it's not me, it's him. And
you didn't teach him those words.
He's very close to me. Everybody who has been here, because as soon as they become a Raptors, they're my family, man. They are Raptors. They're my family, and Vince Carter, most amazing. So much credit to him, so much kudos to him, salute to him, what he did for Toronto, because he put us on the map. And not because he was just a good athlete, he's the best dunker ever. Not because of that. What Vince did,
arguably,
outside the court,
yes,
was the most amazing thing. I'm going to share something with you. For the 6 years he was here, every year, as soon as the season is over, players want to rush out. They want to go to LA, Miami, or wherever they want to go.
Yes.
Vince Carter, for 7 days, glued to Toronto and did a camp where 600 kids used to come. Not 40, not 100, not 200, 500 to 600 kids used to come.
Wow.
And there were a lot of kids who couldn't afford. And I remember Vince and me discussing, or his family discussing, that how we are going to bring the rest of the 100 people. And we found a way by chipping in and bringing those kids. And those were the times.
Yes.
When Corey was a kid, when Tristan was a kid. Credit to VC that today those kids are playing in the NBA. If we have 13 players playing in the NBA, the credit goes to Vince Carter.
Wow.
For bringing the game, bringing the game in Canada and helping out all these young kids when they were young. So a lot of people don't know about this, but one day, maybe I'm going to write a little book And I'm going to mention all these little things, what Vince did outside the game of basketball.
I'm curious to know, in terms of the relationship with Vince, you are part of the documentary, The Carter Effect.
Yeah.
Obviously, you when you were asked to be there was no doubt in your mind that you wanted to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the players that have come through, would you say Vince was probably the most memorable because of his actions like that?
Yeah. He was the most, I believe, the impact he did with the kids, with the city, with the country. It's hard to repeat that. I have never seen an athlete as dedicated to the community as he did. 7 days, you see that, and he was a big time player. As soon as the season is over, the next flight, I know that. they go out of the country and they leave the next morning. Their baggages are always packed. When they know that if we lose this last game of the playoff, we are leaving, they go next day or the day after next. Man, he gave a lot of, which he doesn't get credit at times for, because maybe a lot of people don't know. I know inside. So, like I said, one day I'm going to maybe share that with the world.
Do you wish that he signed with the Raptors instead of the Hawks? He's still 40 and he's still playing. It's remarkable.
You know what? Look, of course I want him to come here, retire, but it's not up to. I always respect my organization. Masai is in charge. He's the man, Masai and Bobby Webster. And they are trying to make the team better and better so that we can be in the finals and we can win a championship. And whatever they decide, it's up to them. And I support whatever team they put it together on that camp and the preseason. I'm there with 150% because they are really working. They have a difficult task of making the team better from the last couple of years. So they're trying hard. There is a lot of pressure on them to make us better, and they're trying everything they have in their power to do that.
What are your thoughts on Kawhi Leonard? Have you had a chance to speak to him? Have they kind of said anything? Or?
He hasn't spent yet too much time in Toronto, but let me tell you, when Kawhi comes, just like I want to make sure when DeMar comes back for his first game, San Antonio versus Raptors in Toronto, I want to make sure all the fans, and I'll request you to help me to spread that he should get the longest standing ovation ever given to any athlete when his name is
called out. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just
Definitely deserve it.
But on now, moving forward and wishing him all the best, like I have just told you, I believe when Kawhi's name comes, we must give him a lot of cheers. We should cheer so hard that the roof of the arena should blow up.
Okay.
So that he knows what the fans are all about in Toronto. People are saying, oh, he won't sign here. You watch it. The Raptors fans are the best fans on this planet, man. They are the best fans. We love our players. So when the game starts, and if he's healthy and what we think he's going to be, I believe that he's going to stay here next year and he's going to sign. He's going to say, hey, I want to sign. I love Toronto. And let's hope that he takes us to the finals and become a legend, because he will be the first one to take us to the finals. Yes. And him and Danny Green are both great players. So I'm very hopeful that we are going to have a great season.
Oh, no, definitely. We're both hopeful on this end as well. I definitely believe that there's a chance for the Raptors to make it this season. But now, Nav, again, just switching to something else. So you've been very much involved in World Vision and Rise Up, Daughters of India, which like you've been speaking about how much Vince Carter's inspired people to help the community. You yourself have been helping the South Asia community as well. So, Nav, I wanted to know, with you doing so much work already to help with the people there, do you want to also bring about the love and joy of basketball to those areas as well?
Of course I do. With the World Vision, I don't know how much you know about it, but with the World Vision, we are for the last year, and I would say for 18, 19 months, we have been working with them, and we agreed to make 60 washrooms in 20 schools in a very poor area, a province,
Yes.
so that it can give an opportunity to 30,000 girls, because in these areas, the girls only go to school till 11 years or 12 years. And when they start having their feminine things, they drop out of the school, because during the first 11, 12 years, they go behind the bushes to relieve themselves.
Yes.
So we in Canada can see that, but this is happening at a lot of places around the world, and in India and in Pakistan. So World Vision took up this project and said they want to see that if some girls can go to school there. And I was inspired by it, because 86% of the money goes into the project itself. So what I did, I said, yes, I'm going to be a part of this, and and they told me that it's going to cost $200,000. I said, I'm going to undertake that, and they gave me like 3 years to do it. But with God's grace, I want to tell you that we are going to be able to finish this project within the 2 years' time. And the good part is, I went to India to see if these washrooms are being made, because India is a backward country, corrupt country. So I wanted to see the money is not being wasted.
Yes.
So I went to India myself with my team and with the World Vision people there. And we saw that the bathrooms are being made and the girls are going to school now. And hopefully in the next few years, 30,000 girls are going to be able to go to school. And when they start going to high schools, they're going to end up maybe in colleges also. So that changes the whole thing, whole community, the whole country. And it's very important for our girls to be educated everywhere in the world. Doesn't matter where they are. It's very important.
Well, thank you. That's a very commendable cause to be a part of, Nav.
Yes. And after we finish this project in this particular area, we will hopefully start undertaking another area where we can have an impact on thousands of girls more in order to go to school.
That's awesome.
That's pretty sweet. That's actually really, really cool.
That's incredible.
This particular project, and you know what? Everybody in my community, not everybody, some of the people in my community were wondering, what am I doing with World Vision, a Christian organization? But to me, kids are kids.
Yes.
Doesn't matter if they are Indians, Sikhs, Hindus, or whatever they are. And that's why I took this project. And this project has been the most satisfying project in my life so far, and inspires me and my family to do more on it.
Do you have any other projects to work on in the future?
Well, we're trying to build some basketball courts here. We have committed to build some basketball courts in the, challenging areas, so that the kids can, rather than hanging around, can go and play basketball. So that's in the works also,
Hopefully breeding the next generation of Toronto Raptors.
Well, that's what we want to hope, that we want to bring some more people from Toronto. We are already proud that we have few kids, like Corey Joseph and some other Andrew Wiggins and all that, who have been from here, Tristan Thompson, all these kids. So this is all a very proud moment for us.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I have another wish, that my Canadian team, who has never won a medal in the Olympics, all the world, I want them to win a medal.
That's the next stop.
I'm supporting my Canadian basketball team in a big way, so that one day I can be seeing my team standing on the podium. So you will see me involved with the Canada basketball also in a big way.
You've done some stuff during the qualifications, some matches as well earlier, not too long ago. A few months
ago. That's just the beginning. We got to continue doing. We have to win a medal. We got to win a medal. Just like Raptors have to win a championship. And Masai and Bobby Webster are doing a hell of a job in trying to achieve that. And we are going to work with Canada basketball in order to do that too.
last week or the prior week, you had an opportunity to check out the Big Three. It made its debut in Toronto. It's in its second year. You took pictures with Ice Cube. You've talked to him in the past. Junkyard Dog, a former Raptor, and a man who's very charitable as well, donating his time and money, was also there. Tell me what that event was like. Seeing what we're calling some of the old heads when they're playing the game, the ones we grew up with, still have that love for basketball and that appreciation that you saw over the last week.
Oh, it was amazing. It's amazing that didn't see any. To have a basketball of that kind of a capacity, that kind of a standard in Toronto in middle of the summer was amazing. And meeting Ice Cube was good, and want to support him in doing what he's doing, because they're not just the big players, the adults. They're also doing something with the young three, which JYD is in charge of it. And it's amazing what they're doing for the kids. And yes, that competition with the big three, with the four teams, playing each other was amazing. It was good to see Coach Oakley, Coach Dr. J, Gary Payton, and see my boys Carlos Boozer, Nate Robinson, a lot of people I saw on that day, Marcus Bankers. So all those guys were there and had a really, really good time. It was a refreshing, and it was a good basketball. It was a good basketball, and you will see that next year it does much more crowds than it did this year.
Your significance, your footprint when it comes to the Big Three. I know we kind of talked about this at the beginning. Not only do you have a way with words, but you're a man who knows how to sell, and you've been really, pumping up in terms of the social media aspect of things. What's kind of your tie-in, or do you have a potential tie-in maybe in the future with the Big Three to promote it a little bit more?
Well, we have agreed to talk about it after this season is over. We are going to talk about it, and I want to help them. Not that I have to have anything. If I can help them in order to promote basketball and bring more kids to the basketball, that's all I want. I don't need any other credits or anything out of that. I just want to be involved that the basketball should be played in the summertime in there. And the thing is, the beauty is that they're reaching out to the one day before the game. Friday is usually the game. Thursday, they reach out to a lot of kids with basketball, not just being a good basketball player, but how to be a good human being also. That's very important.
That's incredible. That's awesome. So I'm going, Nav, I have one more question for you, and this is just a little bit, a bit more tongue-in-cheek, I guess. So Nav, I'd like for you to just imagine you get to you have dinner. You're having dinner at your house, and you have three spots open. Let's say 3 spots open. Now, of all the most famous people, the best people you've ever met along your journey here, starting from becoming the inaugural super fan to today, which 3 people would you sit and have dinner with you at your house?
Oh my God, that's a very tough question, That's a very tough question. These are the people you are saying whom I've already met?
Yes, just people you've met, everyone from the NBA players, past and present, to those in the front offices, to just, celebrities, things like that. Because we've seen online, you've rubbed shoulders with a lot of the elites, a lot of these actors and singers who are also big fans of the Raptors and or other basketball franchises. So who would you love to have dinner at your house of those people? 3 of them.
3 of them. Well, Vince Carter will be one of them.
Vince Carter, okay.
Not because because the reason being, not because he was a superstar, or because he was a best dunker in the world, because the reason is what he has done for us Canadians and how many kids he has inspired through his game and through his giving to the game in the camps and all that. So that will be one of them.
Okay.
Second will be President Obama.
Okay.
I really respect him, what he has done in the world. And you can see the difference. You know now what, the difference between then and now. You know that.
Yes.
So this guy, amazing guy. I mean, he has given the hope to everybody that they can be the president one day.
Yeah, the hope.
Who would think that we will have him as a president? I've been here 33 years now. We never thought there will be a president. I mean, there was a hope that it happens. But look, the way he handled, and his amazing wife, whom I adore. I wish she can run for the presidency next time in 2020. She can run that, because she's going to make an amazing president.
I agree. Definitely agree.
So that's two, right?
Yes.
And
who's your third?
Third one. This is my buddy LeBron James, what he's doing. Not on the court again. It's not important for me on the court.
Yes.
What he's doing, what he did in Akron this week.
Yes.
You saw what he did. He did a school.
Yeah, opening that school, yes.
Look at that, man. Look at that. How, a lot of people have a lot of money. But look at his vision to inspire and impact those kids. And I saw the television reports and all that. It was just so touching to me.
Oh, yeah.
And it was touching to me that he has taken the responsibility as a human being, as a big guy, as a celeb himself. I mean, that's what. But not because he's a 3-time MVP or this record or 8-time All-Star. No, because that shows me that he's right here. God is in his heart there, and he's reaching out to help and bring up the kids up. That's what's important.
Okay, no, those are great.
I don't think there's any way or anything better to close out this interview than what you just told us. Nav, the super fan, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to talk to you in the future, somewhere down the road once the season starts, in the middle of the season, and we get to do this chat one more time.
Anytime you want me, thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you so much, Nav.
Thank you again. Thank you again.
All right. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we can't wait for the new season.
Thank you.
We can't wait to see you out there. Go Raptors, go.